One by one, the best players in the Big East have come to New York City, only to be shown the gate in round one. Now the king of the ball, the conference's player of the year, is here as Hamilton and the Huskies make their debut. 13 teams arrived in New York City dreaming of a Big East title, but knowing that the team to beat, powerful UConn, are ranked number 6 in the nation. Can the undersized, pesky Friars of Providence continue their hot streak and provide yet another upset here at the Garden? Inside Madison Square Garden, everybody, for quarterfinal action from the AT&T Big East Championship. We've got UConn, the number 1 seed and the number 6 team in the country, against those pesky Providence Friars who just will not go away here late in the season. Providence disposing of Notre Dame yesterday to advance to this game against UConn. A look at the 8 remaining teams. It's been a big day yesterday for the underdogs. Hi, everybody. Dan Schulman and Bill Raftery with you. And yeah, UConn is the class of this league. Everybody knows that. And that's in large part due to the fact that Richard Hamilton has had an unbelievable season.
What makes him so tough, Dan, is his ability without the basketball. He uses screens. He understands where to go to the free, the hole, the spot on the floor. We encapsulate him here. He understands where to go. The pop out, he makes shots. He's a great open shooter, but he sets his man up beautifully without the basketball. They look for him. He makes knockdown shots, but what's changed his game totally is his ability with the bounce. He's good at going to the hole.
Now, Providence isn't the team that UConn is, but they do have a star in their own right in Jamel Thomas. Unfortunately for him, at times, he's been a one-man gang this season. Last 2 games against Notre Dame, he has scored 49 points and pulled down 20 rebounds. He has 6 double-doubles on the season. But the biggest difference for Providence in their recent hot streak is he's finally getting some help, and it's the little guys making the big contributions.
And you've been killing them, too. Everybody says, let's post these little guys up. Well, you can't do it all game long. The outstanding dribbling ability obviously is known, but the defense as well. Aggressive John Linehan, very talented, gives it up. They get involved in every play, whether it's the defensive end or the push, the early offense. They're very unselfish. Corey Wright, a compliment. Playing together, they're pretty talented and tough to defend.
MSG has been a house of horrors for favorites so far. The number 11, 12, and 13 seeds have all advanced here this tournament. Providence needs to win this tournament to get to the postseason. We'll be back after this.
Standing by, Big East quarterfinals.
Dave, thank you very much. We are back at Madison Square Garden for the first of 4 quarterfinals here, the AT Big East Championship today. Well, unlike last year when Bill Raftery stole the show at the award ceremony here prior to the tournament, this year it was UConn. Jim Calhoun winning Coach of the Year, Richard Hamilton winning Player of the Year, and Khalid El-Amin winning Rookie of the Year. And it figured to be a UConn kind of a night with everything that the team has accomplished. 26-4 on the season. One of the unheralded members of the Huskies, as we show you the AT&T starting lineups, Kevin Freeman, generously listed at 6'7", but he's a banger and a battler underneath and does a lot of the dirty work for UConn. And for Providence, well, they specialize in dirty work. This is a blue-collar kind of a team. Justin Farley, better than 15 points per game his last 7 games. He's given them a nice second scoring option to help out Jamel Thomas. Ted Valentine to get us going here. And Providence, if Linehan can save it, will control.
And the Huskies start out. Thank you, Jim Calhoun.
John Linehan at the point. If you haven't seen him, you will like what you see. Jamel Thomas misses his first shot. And there's Providence hitting the floor early and coming up with the loose ball. Linehan has it, and Providence leads. And now we have an injured player right off the bat. Aaron Maxey is still down on the floor. He's the one who went diving after that loose ball.
And Bobby Donato's paging the trainers and coaches to come out and check him out. Kevin Gorey taking a look. You mentioned blue collar. They could have waited a few minutes to get down and dirty.
They didn't waste any time.
They got a great look for Jamel, and he will take it. You just see the face and head bouncing off the floor. He's coming off a great game, I thought, against Garrity. You can just see the ability to pursue the basketball. This is what makes this a tough out, this Providence team. And Who else? You mentioned the little guys on the open. John Linehan knocks it down.
And Maxey up and okay. Looked like he was kneed and then kicked in the back of the head, but he was up under his own power. He has gone to the bench, and Llewellyn Cole has replaced him as they attend to Maxey, and hopefully he will not be too seriously injured. Maxey had a terrific game for Providence yesterday.
He sure did. Those kids get hit in the head. You hold up 2 fingers. They say 3. If they can play, you say you're fine.
How will UConn respond? Richard Hamilton for 3. Freeman got held underneath, and Providence gets the rebound.
Well, that's his game. Active on the 10.
This is a Friars team which battled UConn hard twice during the regular season, losing by 7 and losing by 9, and Providence playing its best basketball of the year right now. Farley.
Good open shooter. They were right up on him.
He had 17 big ones against Notre Dame yesterday.
Jake posting up. Freeman, you mentioned, was held. Yeah, it's the only way you can stop him on the offensive glass.
He is a load underneath. Khalid El Amin.
There he is.
Freeman got a hand on it. Farley the loose ball.
John Linehan with the shirt out early. Usually you wait 10 minutes. Providence, a lot of passing game, down screens, a little clear out occasionally on the weak side.
This Cole guarded by Vosco and a travel. Well, as we mentioned, these two teams have already met twice this season, and both were close games. The big reason that UConn was able to win both games, huge advantage on the glass.
Yeah, they sure were. I was up in Hartford for that second game, and they did everything they could. Unfortunately, they don't have big people. Jake, pretty solid in the post for Connecticut, as well as Freeman.
Providence is a team basically of 6'6" and under. They don't have much size at all.
And Thomas plays bigger, though.
Freeman working hard underneath, guarded by Thomas. It hit Hamilton's head and then up off the shot clock. And back over to the Friars. Although UConn beat Providence twice, Richard Hamilton has really struggled this year and in his career against the Friars. 10 for 44 shooting.
Well, Pete, in the history of his coaching, has been able to do gimmick things. We talked yesterday about their triangle 2 against Syracuse. The matchup generally more on the talented Hamilton.
He also won't be afraid to put a Linehan on him.
No.
Linehan really frustrated Todd Bergen in that Syracuse game.
Well, he's so good getting free. It's very important you have foot speed to match.
Moore left open as they helped out on Farley, and we've got a push underneath. We want to go against the Friars.
Can't afford to play without him. Nice, difficult position to be in with the little giveaway. How about Jimmy, Coach of the Year? Were you at the
No, I wasn't. But that surprised me. Did you think he was going to get it?
You know, it's funny. It's almost like Pat Riley, the coach of the Lakers.
Right.
You don't expect them to get it, but they do a great job, kind of a thing. You know, Frischiller's name came up, Amaker's name came up, but he certainly deserves the accolades for what he's done up there.
Tough move by Freeman, and again, the loose ball finds the hands of the Friars. 15-point winners over Notre Dame yesterday. They come in with a record of 13-15, the number 8 seed in the tournament. From the corner, Cole.
Nice look.
Freeman. Finally, something will roll in for the Huskies, and we're tied at 2.
And that's that point ability. Hamilton understands when to give it up. Can't let this get out of hand. That's the important part. Beat it in spaces. Don't rush into anything.
And still Providence ball, 24 to shoot. You saw cold shooting by both teams early. This is UConn's first appearance in this tournament, getting a bye through the first round.
Now Moore is defensively, he's got a tough assignment with Farley, but the foot speed is his.
Thomas. Rebound Freeman. He might have a big day under the boards without Providence having much size.
And look at Jake get down early. Nice steal.
There's the first of many. John Linehan had 5 steals yesterday against the Irish. Made a poor decision getting up in the air, and Providence bailed out.
Nice play by Farley to tip it back to Moore.
Oh, those hands of Linehan.
What great defense. That should be UConn ball.
Bob Donato saying it was off the hands of Freeman underneath.
Well, he's a little closer than we are, but what a great play by Jake Fosco. Jumped out, and then the weak side help.
Moore gets inside, lost the handle. Providence gets it back. Cole. And again, great hands. Kendrick Moore caused it, and Cole puts him ahead.
They need a ratty game. That's their style. They got to get all the cheap stuff because obviously the big people underneath can dominate them.
What a different personality this Providence team has than last year's team. Bosco left alone, and he's fouled by Thomas.
Hey, Jake's starting to make moves like Hamilton there. Shaking and baking around the tin. Well, the big guy, the better he plays, the longer the sideboards go. The ability to find people. Look at this hanging between floors as Jake gets himself to the free throw line. What he does best, I think, and Jimmy Calhoun has worked on this, run the floor and get down, and that's a serious problem. Thomas is trying to help out. They don't have the size, but his ability to run the floor gets him early post position.
Bosco misses. Jake says he has never scored 20 points in a game at any level. Grade school, high school, college, summer leagues. He has never had a 20-point game. And Jim Calhoun would like to see him look for his offense a little bit more.
Well, he would help them out as you move out of this tournament to the NCAA. They need some help inside. You don't get the perimeter play unless you can bang people underneath.
Missed them both. Monquencio Hardnett into the game now for Connecticut. He gives him a little offense from the backcourt off the bench. And the college player, the only scholarship senior on what's a very young UConn team.
They're good, but they're going to be better. What's nice about this team. Tough shot.
Thomas. Baseline, yes.
Pete are rolling the dice here, leaving him in with the two.
You know what, at this point, do you have any choice? Can you take your leading scorer and rebounder out of the game?
He's got Freeman, who should look for himself, but generally he doesn't.
Elamine misses the three. Tip no good. Vosco had it. And now Hardnett gets it back for the Huskies. Elamine will try it again.
Give them a couple of chances. They're going to knock it down. That's going to tell as the game progresses.
Ruled a two-pointer, so it's Providence 6, UConn 4. Better than 5 minutes into this game.
Nice play by Farley. He didn't give it to Linehan. It wasn't over the timeline. Ooh, good recovery.
Elamine with a super steal. Numbers UConn.
Pretty.
And a foul underneath by Linehan as Freeman was headed up for a big jam.
That's what makes Connecticut fun to watch. They're very unselfish. Jimmy Calhoun preaches great defense and give it up to one another. That was just a great example. Doesn't hit the floor at all. This is incredible. The giveaway at the end, but that's beautiful Husky basketball right there. And Providence has a problem size-wise and in the open floor. If Connecticut's able to roam and run, they're in deep problems.
They are one of the best transition teams in the country, and Providence can ill afford to let UConn run wild.
Rookie of the year. Not bad, huh? Coming out of the gate.
Better than 15 points a game, a 5-time Rookie of the Week in the conference. Freeman hits them both to tie it at 6 as we head to a break. Jim Calhoun and the Huskies tied up with the Friars. Jamel Thomas, despite the 2 fouls, getting involved early. Back at MSG, good start to this one. Providence proving yet again that they are not intimidated by a superior team. Ricky Moore has come out of this game from Monquencio Hardnett and was seen rubbing some kind of an ointment apparently on his right shoulder, so he may have jammed that shoulder. And he doesn't get a lot of attention, but he's as valuable a part of this team as anybody.
Well, he can play the point. Obviously, Elamine can move off the basketball. This is an unselfish team, and I think Moore's the principal reason. Plays a couple of positions, and also Hamilton, a guy that can provide that lift, finding people. You saw that in the earlier fast break.
Some pressure from UConn. Linehan is a tough guy to take the ball from, and Elamine will have to work hard on Linehan defending him the length of the court.
Little 1-4 set with a screen down. Flex look.
Tough look inside for Jamel.
The problem with that is you got some guys making passes that they can't make.
Yep. Llewellyn Cole tried to thread the needle, and now UConn trying to take its first lead of the day. Linehan still working hard. Elamine. And he got it back.
He can't get into a personal battle because Linehan just wears you out.
Hamilton into the paint. Freeman missed it.
Should have been a tee. Held on to the rim. Nobody there. They didn't make the deuce, more importantly for UConn.
Kevin Freeman had a gimme. Jamel Thomas has 4 points. Providence leads again.
You notice where they have Jamel too on the baseline, and nice makeable 15-footers. He'll move out.
He's a tough matchup, able to elevate over anybody his size to get a clean look at the basket.
Jake's got to make a move here. Cole with the little small change. I don't think they can play him. Big upside about Jake Voskuhl. You mentioned the 20 points. He's got a little bit of a game in there. He just is unselfish, looks to help others, and that's what you want from your big guy. Maybe the Princeton center mentality.
Aaron Maxey back into the game for Providence. Good news for them as he replaces Cole, and now Providence goes 2-3.
Yep. Nice penetration by Hamilton. Kick out. Valencia with the kick out, I should say. Hamilton with the knockdown.
And what a year for Richard Hamilton. Second in the conference in scoring. And the Big East Player of the Year, beating out Pat Garrity of Notre Dame for that award. Still belongs to the Friars. Corey Wright has now replaced John Linehan at the point for Providence.
Good to see Moore back in, though. Concerned, the trainer spoke to him. It looked like he had a little ice. Here's the penetration against the 2-3, the kick. And what an acknowledgement here. Got the puppy set early. Cotton, Player of the Year. Has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, it does. As a sophomore, not bad. Showed signs of that brilliance late last season when Connecticut had that run through the NIT. Hamilton averaged 25 a game. Carried it over to this year. Open is right. Maxey battling for it. Hardnett has it.
What a valuable sub. He really upticks the offense defensively, spurs them as well.
Last year, when Ricky Moore was suspended, Hardnett had to play at the point, not his natural position. When he comes in at the 2-guard, he's terrific, although he just threw it away here. 3-on-2 Providence. Kendrick Moore.
Nice unselfish play by Corey Wright. Now Moore on the other end has Jamel Thomas. That's a tough assignment. They should be able to post him up.
Rashamel Jones has come into the game now for UConn. Jamel Thomas covering him. Some strange matchups out there. Aaron Maxey, who's really the center for Providence, is guarding Ricky Moore. UConn misses, and here Providence is back at him again.
You can see how big Thomas plays.
Hamilton with right now. Right quicker.
And they got Jones on him now. Better matchup.
Gets a screen from Maxey. Tried to return the feed, and Hamilton a good recovery to knock it out of bounds. Friars are hanging in there, leading UConn by 1. Getting out a little bit, and again the little guys. This time Corey Wright finds Kendrick Moore for the go-ahead bucket. Back at MSG, Providence 10 and UConn 9, and Jim Calhoun spending the first 8.5 minutes of this game trying to decide who should cover Jamel Thomas.
Well, the difficulty is they run a flex, so he posts up. They'll try Moore. Rashamel Jones has him right now, a terrific defender. And you bring up the point, they're hard to figure out as he's active without the basketball. Providence has a small team.
You just can't match up as you normally would because the Providence lineup is unlike any other lineup in the conference. And now, for the first time today, we see both small players, Linehan and Wright, in the game together. And that's going to give Jim Calhoun even more to think about.
And Jake big for that rebound. Ooh, not a good look here.
UConn gets it back. Ricky Moore with the loose ball. Gets inside, forces it up, and hits.
When in doubt. Continuing your thought. Don Nelson always made you change your lineup, and that's what Pete Gillen does too, just to match up properly, particularly in his Milwaukee days.
We saw it a little bit last year in the NBA with the Phoenix Suns playing some small ball and saying, we're small, we know it, you adjust to us. Oh, Aaron Maxey.
Aaron, you are fine, I'm sure. Count the fingers. Was that big?
Just 6'6", 195 pounds. The freshman is playing center because Providence has no other size.
And Thomas staying without fouls here. He's got Freeman. The difficulty is on a check out. Here's the help though. Maxey trying to front. Pete swimming on the sideline. Guys from Brooklyn generally aren't good swimmers, you know.
Going to have to have at the other end this follow dunk by Maxey.
That wasn't as impressive, and Thomas is taking real good shots, which enable guys like Maxey to get in position. Jake ducks in. You got to be physical. I guess he's been banged around in Texas as well.
Well, there are those who think that the one weakness UConn may have is they don't really like the physical play, and that maybe you can body them around a little bit. Look at Wright steaming down to the other end. Maxey.
Good ball movement. Pretty good recovery, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Well, you take Jake and Freeman. I don't know what people are saying, because they like to tee it up. I mean, they're physical players.
Here's Farley off the screen, got his man in the air from the foul line and misses, but it still belongs to Providence. Well, be sure and join the whole gang. Chris Fowler, Digger Phelps, Dick Vitale, and Quinn Buckner, Sunday 6:30 for the NCAA Tournament Men's Selection Special presented by GTE. And then at 7:30, it's the Women's Selection Special presented by State Farm. Robin Roberts, Mimi Griffin, and Rebecca Lobo. Look for the team you've been with since Midnight Madness as they break down each of them heading into the college basketball tournament. Sunday figures to be a big, big day. Farley again sneaking inside. Linehan for three. Rebound Elamine. Hamilton.
Wow. Can he get out and sprint? I mean, he made that a one-man fast break. Good hustle by Richard, and they love to give it up to one another. Good, solid, unselfish play. And what makes this guard, Elamine, so good, he gives it up early. He also is willing to give it up to somebody else to make the play. A lot of point guards like to bring it up and then distribute.
Hamilton at the line. We mentioned he led the conference in three-point shooting and in free throw shooting. And he is the fastest UConn player to reach the 1,000-point mark, even faster than Ray Allen. And the hope is that Richard Hamilton will return next season.
Well, they've had some good players over there. Courtney Thompson, Tony Hansen, Ronnie Bushwell. Now, tell me you know that name. He's been around in the 50s. I read about him. But it's been a terrific basketball institution.
Yes.
And they've always had good basketball teams. And Jimmy's just taken to another level.
And they're able to recruit from everywhere within the United States and seemingly everywhere outside the United States as well.
Hugh Greer there for years. Dom Perno, and now Jimmy is just a magnificent job. A different matchup as Jake jumps out. They're changing people. It doesn't seem to matter.
Already 7 for Jamel Thomas, and Providence back on top by 2.
Look at the size difference on the box with Jake. I think they got to use him. Give him some touches.
Moore bangs his way inside. Got stood up and turned it over. Linehan the other way. Providence right now with 2 freshmen and a transfer on the floor. Jamel Thomas really the only star quality player they have, but everybody else is contributing. This is their best stretch of the season. Maxey on the finish. Great work by Corey Wright.
Well, what happened there is Jake Bosco was a one-man zone looking for penetration. Nobody helped on Maxey as he went to help out. And
offensive foul. Jake Bosco, and a good call by Ted Valentine. He rolled him over.
He's been fighting for post position, and that time got caught. I think sometimes you get frustrated when you don't get touches. Now, Jake's in the 3-second lane. Maxey's on the wing. He helps out. You don't get the top side down. The strong completion. They send it in by Aaron Maxey. Giving up inches, and look at the step in. That's a great camera shot. You just see the reaction. A little bit faulty on the wing.
Bosco has come out of the game now for UConn as Jim Calhoun goes with a small lineup for them. They've got Freeman, Rashamel Jones effectively playing a power forward spot right now. He's lost most of his minutes this year, but will play more against smaller teams such as Providence. There's a hold on Ricky Moore.
This is a case now where Pete's made him change his lineup. Play small. They got all little guys, forward mentality right now. So Pete's winning this early on battle. They've eliminated the center position.
You have to admire the underdog saying to the favorite, you adjust to us.
Exactly. Well, if Jake got some touches, they would have to make some adjustments as well.
Corey Wright for 3. He saw the number. Providence actually outscoring UConn in the paint as well, which you wouldn't expect given their lack of size. But a lot of that set up by the dribble penetration of Linehan and Wright.
They are quick. You're very fond of them, I might add.
Yeah, they grow on you.
Yeah, they do. They play together. It's a tough match at this end. Plus, they rank you on the defensive end.
Farley will put it up.
Ooh. He's had a couple of looks. They get over the top on Maxey, I think.
Maxey injured earlier in this game. Back in, commits the foul. That'll be number 2 on Aaron Maxey. He and Jamel Thomas now each playing with 2 fouls. And that's going to send UConn to the line at the other end for the 1-and-1.
You know, the difference between college and pros. In pros, they'll isolate Thomas with those 2 fouls. Now they go right at him. He is not.
He hasn't been.
No, Freeman hasn't really touched the basketball to get him in that 3rd foul. And without Thomas, this is not a tough out.
It's been a tough year for Kevin Freeman physically. He has battled through a lot. Back spasms, a concussion, tendonitis in his knees, a wrist injury, a viral infection, and bruised vocal cords when he was elbowed during the game. But he's as tough as they come on this UConn team.
They probably spent more money with doctors for him than they did for the scholarship.
Hits them both. We head to a break with 7:34 to play in the first half. Very competitive game here in New York. Providence won't go away. Dan Shulman, Bill Raftery back with you. And you know Providence isn't going to win this game without the cliche 110% effort. And Aaron Maxey has shown that today.
Unbelievable. The knee in the head. Able to recover and get fouled. And how about this one, Dan? Great reaction on the follow by Thomas. And Thomas is doing some good things shot-wise. And he has been aggressive and defensively. Incidentally, the trombone player with the basketball in his head.
Yep.
That's Tom Archer's donation to Providence College. Our producer saving his money.
Yes, a Friar alum trying to provide balanced coverage here this afternoon. Saved by Kendrick Moore. Moore, Wright, Linehan, Maxey, and Thomas on the floor right now for Providence.
This is a game in the playground right now, size-wise. Everybody's matched up. You don't have to worry about a guy sitting on the box posting up.
And right now, Hamilton and Thomas matched up on one another. Tough pass baseline, and Maxey threw it away. Hamilton the steal. Pulls up at the foul line. Tough shot. And a good box out by Kendrick Moore. Foul underneath, going against UConn.
You're in trouble when Corey Wright is getting your rebound. I don't care how high he can elevate. But Richard Hamilton with an elusive dribble in the midcourt area. This is usually a knockdown for him. But up big with a solid checkout. Corey Wright, Linehan there to lend assistance.
Providence gets it over without too much trouble. 6:45 left in the half. The winner to move on to the Big East semifinal against the winner of our next game, Georgetown and Rutgers. And who would have thought we'd be seeing the number 12 and the number 13 seeds in our next game, which will be over on ESPN.
Nice slide by El Amin as Moore used a high pick. Say the numbers are conducive to Providence right now. Not a wide open game.
Linehan a long 3 and a long rebound to El Amin. They can run now.
Good play. Good play. Wow. You don't have to be big to be tough. And Corey Wright, great anticipation. A little bit frustrating for UConn. They can't get out in the open floor, get the easy looks. And look at the little guy taking it on the numbers. I'd like to see you out there picking up the charge, Dan Shulman. Oh, are they fun?
4-on-2, and UConn runs itself into a charge. Still 17-15 Providence as we move along into the late stages of the first half. Dave Pankin, a good one here with underdog Providence leading UConn by 2. Jim Calhoun has reinserted Jake Voskuhl back into the game. See if the big guy can assert himself.
Well, what's happened here is Jimmy, in a sense, has to match up with Pete. He's not happy with the style of play. Jake, out of the game, they played small. Claber, not a factor right now. So they should use Jake now that he's back in the game. You know, he can rebound, give him some offensive touches.
Linehan's gone out of the game for Providence. Corey Wright still in there. Freeman having to chase Justin Farley around, and we saw how that affected Pat Garrity yesterday.
And Farley had a couple open looks. They need him to light it up, Providence.
Thomas working hard on Hartnett, trying to get post position.
And look at Hamilton. Nice job, Ragan. Oh, is that great? Now, there's your player of the year. He plays both ends all over Corey Wright. Everybody denying. You mentioned the post defense. Everybody has to shut out the passing lane, or this can't happen. The 5-second call. Great effort. 6'6", chasing diminutive Corey Wright.
You surprised that Calhoun has him on right instead of somebody smaller like Elamine?
Well, he plays. Obviously, they got Lenham when he's in the game. They're going to have to. Somebody's going to have to play a small guy.
Yep.
But on switches with that flex, stuff's going to happen.
And now at the other end, Wright finds himself on Hamilton. See if UConn can take advantage of this matchup.
And that's what they should do.
Voskuhl spinning inside and hits. There's what UConn needed.
Now, that's a tough shot. They can get better for Jake if they look for him. I think Voskuhl's got a big upside on the offensive end. It's just a matter of everybody else is so good with UConn.
He's just a sophomore as well. Elamine on the right this time. Ricky Moore will check in for UConn at the next opportunity. We are tied at 17.
Now here's your answer. See, Hamilton's got Farley.
Yep, working hard on him.
They switch, and they help one another out, so there'll be different assignments.
And a foul goes against Hartnett of the Huskies. ESPN's coverage of Championship Week continues all day today. Game that we'll have for you here from the AT&T Big East Championship. Georgetown and Rutgers, 2 Eastern. Then out of the Big Ten, first round of the Big Ten tournament, it is Penn State against Wisconsin at 4:30 this afternoon. From the ACC, Florida State, NC State, and then at 9, Big East quarters, St. John's, BC, Utah, UNLV from the WAC. All hoops all the time on ESPN.
They get a little push off on the penetration.
There's the coach of one of the teams in our next game over on ESPN, Kevin Abannon of Rutgers. Their team beating West Virginia. They'll take on Georgetown.
Well, it beats being in the office calling recruits. Staying alive. And right here, they got the little push off. Pretty good defense by Freeman. They help one another, UConn.
Huskies will try to take the lead again, this time down the floor. Ricky Moore back in for UConn. Hamilton's open in the corner. Elamine doesn't see him. Takes his own three. Freeman, good rebound underneath. And an offensive foul on Kevin Freeman.
Wow. Now, we can't see it, but that's where they're going to have to do the damage. Get touches low and offensive rebounds. And Freeman, one of the better players in the league. They are just teeing it up toe-to-toe under there. And it looked clean, but maybe we missed the early bang, huh?
Kendrick Moore took the charge. Second foul on Freeman. Providence ball. Joel Thomas has done a good job playing with his 2 fouls for about 10 minutes. Moore gets inside all the way, blocked by Voskuhl.
Well, that's what he's there for. One-man zone.
And a good look ahead to Elamine. Numbers for UConn. Hamilton. And Richard Hamilton is called for the foul.
How about the pass, though? Khalid Elamine gives it up at the right time. That's a perfect look for Richard Hamilton. You get the foul because you don't make the shot. A little bit frustrated. Look at the kick out now. Right here, one bounce, give it to him. It's a perfect. You see the defense retreating nicely for Providence. But he knows that was an assist to be had.
Kind of a tough half for Hamilton. He is just 1 of 6 from the floor. 5 points. For a guy who averages almost 22 a game.
Carl Hobbs over there talking to Khalid. Pretty good point guy. I'm sure you followed UConn those days, huh?
Oh, yeah. They've had a run of good guards in that score.
Look at him giving up, though. And he's upset because he's so unselfish. He's trying to make the right play, the right decision. They just haven't been able to convert for him.
Very low-scoring game here at the Garden. Neither team shooting particularly well. Providence has led most of this game, but they haven't connected on a field goal in almost 8 minutes. Well, you tell Pete Gillen that his center gets injured. his star gets 2 fouls, and they have an 8-minute drought, and they'd be tied with UConn. He'd be a happy guy.
Now, they're not taking advantage of Thomas on this end. He's playing without the foul, with the 2 fouls, and not getting the 3rd. But he's not getting the opportunity. Nice play by Jake again.
Roscoe blocks Linehan. Hamilton starts him the other way.
And look at him sprint the floor, Jake. Now he's got an offensive rebound if it's a miss.
And it is a miss. Push to the floor is right. Rashamel Jones loose ball. El Amin gives UConn the lead.
That's what they got to do. Uptick it. They're going to have a conversation here. They're saying let the ball go. I thought maybe it was a little physical play. Pete wants the 24. Or 20, excuse me.
He'll take the extra 4. He's got some things to talk over. 19-17 UConn. Well, we told you about all the basketball on ESPN. Over on ESPN2, where we are after this game, we'll have Minnesota and Northwestern. First round action out of the first ever Big Ten tournament. Then it's the Navy against Lafayette in the Patriot League Championship game at 4 Eastern. More from the Big East tonight at 7 Eastern. Villanova, after that thrilling double overtime win against Pittsburgh, they'll take on Syracuse, the #2 seed in this tournament. And then Dayton and Rhode Island in a very large game in the Atlantic 10. All those 6 teams battling for probably 5 spots in the tournament.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Big East after the tournament. I think West Virginia's in.
Yes.
But a struggle late in the season, all those things. But Dayton, I think, keep winning. They're going to have a hard time keeping them out.
I think if they win today, they're going to have a very hard time keeping them out. Now Aaron Maxey heading over for a conversation with Bob Donato. He may need a little medical attention. Llewellyn Cole is going to come back into this game.
Oh, you know what?
Is it a
ball had been put back in play
right.
deal.
So Maxey will have to wait for the next whistle before he can get in.
It's interesting when you think of Thomas and Hamilton. Not that they're similar in style, but they're guys that can help out handling, do some damage.
Linehan looks inside. Llewellyn Cole in a heavy traffic kicks it back out. Now they find Thomas. Will he go to work? Over Rashamel Jones, and he draws the foul. Jones doesn't like it at all, but I don't think you want to mess around with Ted Valentine today after what he's been through the last few days. He had that rough day with Bobby Knight and a fight in the game at Notre Dame. Stay away from Ted Valentine.
This is a layup. But what's nice about Providence, Pete understands if you're going to play him, use him. Nice post up by Thomas, comes up empty. Well, you get to the free throw line. It's a positive trip.
Maxey now checks back in for Cole. Good start today for Thomas. Coming off back-to-back double-doubles against Notre Dame. Final game of the regular season. And a first-round game yesterday. And what's amazing about what he's been able to do this year is that with everyone lost from last year's team, all the opposing coaches know
he's the guy.
Yeah, he's option number 1, and most times he's option number 2 as well.
Now, if I'm an assistant, nice little play here by Corey Wright. Linehan leaks out. Pete's calling the play. But if I'm an assistant right now with Providence, I'm saying, Pete, what do you think? Let's get Thomas out. At some point, they're going to have to pull the plug. Great respect for his game, though. He has not been involved in anything at the other end to get a foul.
He's played about 14 minutes now with 2 fouls.
Trying to post him up. He knows he can be stronger, and this is a semi-post.
Got to hurry here with 3 on the shot clock. Maxey.
No go. It shouldn't be any goal.
And a rebound to UConn. Inside 2 minutes to play in a low-scoring Providence kind of a game so far. And there's a push on Linehan. That'll be number 2 on him.
How high was that dribble, by the way? Did you see it?
Yeah, hired Linehan. Coming up on the 7-Up halftime report, we'll join the ESPN News Network. A look at one of the games going on in the A-10 right now, St. Joe's and Temple. And then D-Day is on the way for Bobby Knight. What will his punishment be? A huge day in basketball today in every conference.
I know what your decision would be. You'd give up the game. You'd never give up the money.
10 grand. Thanks, partner. There's Ted Valentine, probably happy to be out of the state of Indiana after the comments made by Bobby Knight. I talked to Ted Valentine a little bit before the game today, and he was very firm, and he felt he did the right thing. And you know, he was upset he had to take the verbal abuse he did from Bobby Knight, and the Big Ten has left it in the hands of Knight in a sense to determine his own fate.
an easy job, huh?
No. Not in Bloomington, anyway. 2-point lead for the Huskies. Minute 45 in the half. Here's Justin Farley, who's had a quiet first half. Has yet to score in this game.
Good seal off by Vasco. Nice pass.
Farley, great position. Nobody found him inside, and there he is on cue with his first 2 points of the day.
Now, the casual observer saw a nice little play. That is designed. When they help baseline, the flash by Farley. Good call. That's all tape work in preparing.
Farley very good, too, at finding the seam.
Yeah, he is.
Ricky Moore forces one up. Hamilton couldn't put it down, but the foul underneath will go on Justin Farley, who vehemently protests the call, and with good reason, because that's number 3 on him.
That was their own man, UConn, that fouled. Farley in the area. He's frustrated. Now check out on the rebound.
We need you underneath.
The push was his own man. Now here comes Hamilton. Well,
didn't look like a lot of contact down there. And again, Hamilton, a superb free throw shooter at the line. Llewellyn Cole in for Justin Farley. Well, they rolled the dice with Farley, and he picked up his third. Pete Gillen will not roll the dice with Jamel Thomas. He is out for the final minute and change of the first half. Will still be UConn ball.
And Pete Gillen saying check out. Well, easier said than done. They're playing with Fosco a little bigger.
Really, 2 point guards, a luxury that Jim Calhoun has as well. Ricky Moore and Khalid El-Amin, and the foul is going to go against Kendrick Moore of the Friars. Well, look at who's left in the AT&T Big East Championship. This is game 1 of 4 today, and yet another close one after really 4 terrific games out of the 5 games yesterday. 1 overtime game, 1 double overtime game, and then 2 big upsets provided by Rutgers and Georgetown. The nighttime bracket, Syracuse, Villanova, and then BC against St. John's.
Now, this is an attitude time of year. You've seen them a couple of times generally. And how you approach the game mentally, I think, becomes so important. The little things you take away. And Jimmy Calhoun in the catbird seat, I guess you'd call it. Everybody looking to take a shot at him.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, Bill, that maybe in the future, maybe soon, the Big East might cut down the number of teams invited to the tournament, feeling that 13 teams is a little bit unwieldy. That would make the February games more meaningful, but then you wouldn't have had yesterday at all. And there was some great basketball yesterday.
And you know what's sad, too? A couple of guys will lose their jobs if they don't get invited to the
Yeah, you're right.
And eventually, that's going to happen. And
T.J. McKenzie.
A little discard.
6'10" freshman out of Friendswood, Texas, just coming into the game. Providence needs to get through this next 45 seconds without too much further damage. They've got some of their best players on the bench in foul trouble right now.
And Pete commiserating as he looks over Bobby Gonzalez and Michael Malone, and that's number 3 there with Farley. Here's Bobby in the middle. Tommy hurrying. I mean, they look at it, they're dying because of McKenzie's foul. It's not that bad, guys. Of course, the opportunity with the clock stopped, and then they get their press started. That's the dilemma that you're going to face now.
And they keep sending the wrong guy on the other team to the line. Richard Hamilton keeps knocking him down. 6 of 7 from the line so far today.
And you mentioned earlier what a great free throw shooter. 85%. Look at that stroke. Oh, as they'd say in the studio, butter.
5-point lead now for the Huskies. Got to get the ball in, and they do just in the nick of time to Linehan.
Connecticut's thinking stop, and Providence thinking use a little clock and get a good one.
And a 9-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Corey Wright picked that ball right up off the floor and just kept going.
Good denial. Look at that great shot. That's where UConn is major league. They can get after you. Open up the strap and let me in. The ability to defend. I mean, we got the solid pressure on the ball. We're going to end up here. Jake's jamming up. But look at the denial now. The next logical receiver, just solid. Jake will end up here. I mean, they're just great preparation as they analyze how to rag everybody all over. Shutting all the lanes. Too many people here. Got to get it out of that spot. Make quick decision, but when you're holding Thomas out, they saved him, which is, I think, a smart move. The assistants are so important. The main
Did
guy's
you say
not
that
sure.
when you were the main guy?
No, not at all. Well, I did when it came time to pick up the check.
But now with Thomas, Farley, and Maxey all on the bench, Providence has got to get a shot up in the next 3 seconds.
And they, you know what? They're not going to.
Linehan knew it, got it off.
Nothing.
Not great court awareness there by the Providence Friars, other than Linehan, who just threw up a desperation heave right at the buzzer.
And now it's 20 by Jimmy. Can't bring it in at halftime. Got to step up the defense. I think Pete's going to have to extend it. Don't gamble. And try and contain the dribble penetration.
UConn's going to head to the break with a little momentum after Providence led most of this first half. They have made it into kind of a helter-skelter game, which is what the Friars want. UConn wants to play it pretty, get out in transition, and Providence generally has done a good job of shutting them down. But UConn's talent starting to shine through here at the end of the first half.
Well, the game is a marathon, and right now the rebound differential extraordinary, and even starting to creep away today. Here's the pressure, full court. And you go in after a tough half with 5 and maybe 7. You're in good shape if you're UConn.
Ooh, Ricky Moore. No. 0.8 of a second left. Ricky Moore got a layup.
And remember now, UConn, one of the better teams in the country at scoring on an inbounds play on the baseline. Just terrific.
Got to be a catch and throw for
catch
UConn.
And shoot.
Hamilton got it off. Boy, that's an outstanding look considering there's 0.8 of a second left, but he couldn't hit. Will Cinderella shine again today? Jamel Thomas, Aaron Maxey, and the Friars within 5 of the powerful Huskies. Stay tuned. We'll join the ESPN News Network after this. You called it a ratty kind of a game in the first half, and it was that. It was low scoring and kind of helter-skelter, what Providence needs. Both stars, one on each side, had to go through a lot just to get some touches.
The numbers are Providence's favor, I think, but the ability to get free is so important for both standouts. Hamilton uses post rubs. Thomas, the guy in their passing game that likes to get in areas where he can dominate. He ducks in, and they're going to continue to go to Thomas, but I just think Hamilton keep him off the foul line, right? He's struggling 1 for 8.
Yeah, shooting numbers not pretty from the floor. From the line, obviously, Richard Hamilton and UConn, that's where they've done most of their damage. But look at Providence, just 4 points in the last 8.5 minutes. They had the lead. They lost the lead. They got in some foul trouble. Richard Hamilton, what is it about Providence that just makes him struggle? He just doesn't have a good shooting percentage. We have to speak quietly because he's right in front of us here. We don't want him to hear.
Richard's got to keep moving without the basketball. They got to use some bumps for him. But I just think Providence is keeping the score down. Less touches for him. And sometimes you rush things when you don't have the ball often.
Well, he ignores you more than I ignore you.
That's like one of my favorite plays. Nice screen down.
Elamine was open outside, and a great dish to Freeman.
Oh, out of the gate, drawn on the chalkboard. That's when you turn and say to the assistants, I'm pretty good.
You think Calhoun peeled some paint off the wall at halftime?
Well, you know, I think he had to be happy because they were forced to play a little differently than they would like. I think he's just sort of educated a little.
First assist of the game to Elamine on that great feed to Freeman. Remember, Farley for Providence, 3 fouls.
And Farley can elevate over Elamine right here.
And he hits. Justin Farley can be that second weapon behind Jamel Thomas. Now 4 points in the game for Farley. Looking for Voskel down low. Good help by Thomas. That leaves Freeman open, though.
Nice hands. Linehan.
Third time today that Linehan has forced a turnover.
He's got a little energy out there. And Thomas in a little America's play. Screen down. And Farley through. They got Moore on him now. Much better matchup.
Freeman with Thomas, Hamilton with Moore, Linehan up top, freshman from Chester, Pennsylvania, not highly recruited at all.
And Jake went out there and hollered help.
Clear out for Farley, tough turnaround. Rebound Ricky Moore, Farley grabbed it away from him, and it may have been fortunate not to pick up a foul.
What a look. Freeman didn't charge, Dan. What a big-time play. They love the jump stop. It's just as effective when you're passing the basketball.
Hamilton now with a dozen to lead all scorers. Linehan, great bounce pass, and Vasco the foul.
Jake the Shake, this is my domain. Keep it out. They like to run, Dan. Get out in the open floor, cause some damage, usually off of turnovers, and they're very unselfish.
7-point a game. UConn in the lead. One more look.
And Dan, just watch the end here with Freeman. I mean, a lot of guys would bowl right over. Look at that. Stop, slide, result positive.
Just underway in the second half. Kendrick Moore, the transfer from Missouri, at the line for Providence. He's a native of Hartford as he heads to the line and hits the first.
You know, Pete was just talking to Jamel Thomas. Half of your job is to massage people. Jamel was over there somewhat downcast. He hasn't had any opportunities early. You got to just hang in there, son. You know, we'll get you the basketball. Just go play. We'll see how he responds.
Vasco left alone. Over Linehan for the deuce.
Shake. That's twice now. He looks like one of the other guys. Hanging around, sliding that body. Give him a 10.
Lead at 7. Providence can't let this one get much further away. They are not an explosive team, the lowest scoring team in the conference.
And Freeman doing a good job on Jamel, part of that frustration.
Linehan will put up a 3. Big shot for the Friars.
Big guy for the Friars, the way he's turned this season, I think.
Boy, what a game he had against Notre Dame yesterday. He filled up the stat sheet. 7 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 5 steals.
Oh, I mean, with the left, beautiful control.
Tip back up, still no. Here come the Friars. Numbers.
Nice decision. Oh, what a look. Oh, is that pretty?
You love that, don't you?
Oh, is that enjoyable. Usually it's Connecticut in the open floor. That's pretty. That time, beautiful by the Friars.
And give as much credit to Maxey for filling as to Linehan for finding him. Hamilton left alone, missed badly. And Providence all of a sudden can tie it or take the lead on this trip.
Hamilton and Thomas can't get frustrated.
Moore for the lead. And he knew he missed that one. He was running as hard as he could to the rim to try and get it back.
Look at this opening. Oh! Send it in! Everybody parted. Oh, Bobby Donato just fell. The official, fortunately, he's okay.
Hamilton, a clear path.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got that extra gear when he's on the break. Linehan forcing it inside. Farley baseline, no. Rebound of Vasco.
They like to compliment their defense. Look, deep one here. Wow.
24-footer for Khalid El-Amin.
Khalid filling it up. Pete's going to run out of 20s. Oh, that was what? 24 feet?
Oh, yeah. He was behind the NBA line.
Getting him up and down. The open game, sort of the personality of UConn. And that one, the puppy set, nylon from deep. And right here, as you noted, defense spreads, and that's a compliment to the other UConn people. And Hamilton jams it in. Oh, is that pretty?
All kinds of weapons for Jim Calhoun, led by Rip Hamilton. Almost 22 a game. Khalid El-Amin, he's cocky. He's not just confident, he's cocky. And one of the big reasons he came to UConn, when he came for his visit and scrimmage with the players, he was barking out orders. Rip, you do this. Freeman, you do that. All the other players responded and listened to him. And he said, hey, I'm home.
Somebody's finally listening to me.
He's the floor general, although he's really the co-point guard along with Ricky Moore. Linehan gets inside, again finds Maxey, and they'll reset.
They finally get Thomas a touch. Freeman has done a great job. Look at Jake trying to help everybody attune.
It'll be awfully tough for Providence to hang in this game unless Thomas gets enough touches to get going. There's a foul on Freeman.
Now that timeout, that get-together was to massage Jamel. Let's get him involved a little bit. Touched it twice. Calhoun knows it's going his way.
7-point lead Huskies, but they've got a battle on their hands. Big start to the second half from Hamilton and El-Amin as UConn's 2 stars are filling it up.
pretty good without the ball. And Providence trying to get Jamel Thomas moving without the ball. We noted that he was a little bit frustrated. This is a spillover from the first half where he popped, posted, flared, spaced, and occasionally got a touch that far from the hole. And you give it to him out there, he's not as effective as he is within the 15-foot area. So you keep forcing him for that kind of shot, you're in good shape. But he's a little bit upset right now, I think.
Sometimes when you play a team with one star, you say, let the star get his, we'll stop everybody else. It looks like UConn saying, let's stop the star and force somebody else to step up.
And there they stole the inbound.
Baseline, Hardnett. Followed by Vasco, and is he going to get called for over the back?
You got it.
That'll be number 3 on Jake.
You know, part of the dilemma if you're a Vasco type player, when you're around good people that can do things on their own, you don't get opportunities, so you force the issue on occasion to get to the glass and contribute an offensive rebound. Now that's close to a non-call. So you like the big guy attacking and playing within himself. They're a different team without him.
Suleiman Wan comes in to replace Vasco. He's very new to organized basketball. This is just his second year of playing organized basketball.
And they think there's a big upside to his game, though. Will foul because of inexperience, and here's Jamel. Look where he's getting it. Hardnett right on him.
Goes right by him. Good ball fake by Jamel. Elevates, misses. Rebound underneath. Loose ball comes to the Huskies. Elamine pushing it. Hardnett has Hamilton with him. Still UConn ball. The Huskies might have caught a break there.
They're going to discuss it.
They might reverse this one. Nope. Corey Wright shows you his displeasure.
Well, Bobby Donato said he had it. Teddy Valentine acquiesced. It's one way of stopping Hamilton. Hold on to him.
Hamilton's got a game-high 14, despite the fact he's only 3 of 11 from the floor. Working on Thomas. Three-pointer.
Now both he and Thomas now 4 shots.
Linehan for 3. In and out. Rebound to Rashamel Jones.
Connecticut has more options than Providence does. So if Hamilton has an off night, it won't hurt them as much.
And with Farley on the bench again for Providence, fewer options. Linehan got his hands in there yet again. Maxey's out ahead of the pack.
Maxey doesn't need any taxi, I'll tell you that. He can elevate and sprint out. And that's a nice play by Thomas, too.
You know, Maxey's got 8 points, and I'm positive he's got 4 dunks.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't think he's had to make one from further than 1 foot away.
Now you're in the timeout saying to Jamel, now Jamel, that's the way to play. Play within yourself. Nice look. The inability to get touches simply because UConn is prepared. And Dan, I don't think Jimmy Calhoun subscribes to the theory. Let him get his. Everybody around, everybody look at the hedge to help. Here's the step up from the baseline. He tried to elevate over, and anytime you do that in a jump shot, you have some problems. But they go small on Hamilton because of speed. They switch. Everybody tagging the superstar. And Hamilton just sort of backs off, drills this one. And he's not getting the kind of looks they would like.
They're switching on everything. He had Wright, Cole, and Thomas on him on the same possession down there. Ricky Moore. And Corey Wright's called.
Wow, Moore is hurt. Is that same?
Looked like his shoulder earlier. Now he's holding a knee.
Oh, goodness.
They hate to see this.
I watch football, man. I love it. On a Sunday, and whenever anybody gets hurt, regardless of the team, you can see the leg buckling. I mean, it puts chills right through you.
He may have gone knee to knee with Jamel Thomas.
Well, if that's the case, that is good news. Yeah, you're right there. Now, that's better than jamming it and turning it. I mean, the pain is excruciating, but at least it's not, hopefully, that's a great sign. Nothing but a bone bruise at worst. Hopefully.
Well, we saw last night in one of the nighttime games, Shaheen Holloway get carried off with a knee injury, came back in and hit a 3-pointer to send the game to overtime. Coverage of ESPN's Championship Week, presented by 7-Up, continues on ESPN2. Later, with out of the Big Ten, Minnesota taking on Northwestern, following our game in the Patriot League Championship. Navy and Lafayette at 4 Eastern today, but that is not all. Villanova, Syracuse, Dayton, Rhode Island tonight. 5 games on the deuce today. Farley back in, snags the rebound for Providence.
They got an open look at the. Oh, goodness.
Underneath, Llewellyn Cole puts it back in, and it's a 3-point game.
I thought Wright should have kicked it to Farley. Anytime you're that size in amongst the big guys, you don't get clean looks.
Providence just will not go away. Remember how tough they played UConn during the season, losing by 7 and losing by 9. Elamine puts it on the floor and gets it inside. Hamilton. Tipped by Juan. No. Hamilton gets the gimme.
And Juan wielding his magic, too, just keeping it alive. Nice play. But Hamilton figured, hey, I'll take the little guy down here, but all the attention in his direction.
39-34. Boy, Pete Dillon is working himself into a frenzy over on that sideline, barking out instructions. Thomas looking to get involved.
Tough shot when you back up like that.
Farley, good rebound underneath.
And Elamine at a disadvantage with the size.
Back at the other end, Hamilton, baseline on Thomas. Suleiman Juan is fouled and will shoot a couple.
60% free throw shooter. Nice little look, and you love that when a good player is willing to give it up.
Juan, a 6'11", 235-pound sophomore who redshirted last year. Like you said, Calhoun loves his game, thinks he has a ton of upside. He's got a wingspan of 7'6", and where he's made his presence felt most this year is on the defensive end. Calhoun thinks his offensive game is going to come along.
They see those hands hanging down. They're still working on Ricky Moore, and as you noted, I just hope it's that little banging effect, put some ice on it. Nice stroke.
It's been a tough tournament so far between Holloway, Mario Bland for Miami yesterday, and Ricky Moore. Providence fans getting into it. 4-point game midway through the second half. Providence a huge underdog in this game against top-seeded Connecticut. Foul, I believe, on Rashamel Jones.
Yeah, he just got a little small change foul away from the basket. Look at these subs when you think of it. Freeman and Bosco. Not too bad, huh? Juan and Jones take a respite.
And as you mentioned, they could be even better next year. They lose Hardnett. But that is it, assuming that Hamilton does return to school.
Jake with those sideburns looks like one of the tallest rock and roll stars, doesn't he? He's jamming everything up, though. That's part of the dilemma. The one-man zone.
Nobody in the middle for Providence, though, for him really to get close to.
Now, he's got Cole, but he's looking to sniff. Look at the help. Nice recovery.
And will Thomas create? Nice. Finally got it back. Got to get a shot up. And a foul.
And Bosco gets the foul. That's their game, though. Anything down, get after it. Scrappy, feisty kind of club. A little bit like Pete. The Brooklyn in Pete comes out. It's a war out there. You fight your way through the subway every day. You want your breakfast served quickly. And there's an urgency about Providence.
I'll tell you, though, big moment here. Jake Bosco just picked up his 4th foul. He's going to come out, and we're going to see Antrick Klaber for the first time today for UConn. 6'10" junior from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Now, we'll see if he's paid attention to the scouting. He's got to jam it up, be of assistance to everybody, the cutters, particularly Jamel Thomas. And they got this on Andrew. Well, that's a quickie. That may be the quickest foul I've ever seen. Getting position and sealing it. How you look at that. I'm not so sure who fouled whom. A little giveaway. 1 second foul.
Providence will have the ball down 3 when we come back to MSG. I'll tell you, the Big East tournament loves an underdog. The 11, 12, and 13 seeds all won yesterday. Here's number 8 Providence hanging in with number 1 Connecticut. Jake Voskuhl on the bench with 4 fouls. Jamel Thomas hasn't scored this half, and Providence is only down 3.
And I guess you'd attribute to feisty play, hanging tough. And the counter defensively, Jones able to jam it up, cause some problems. Then they go for Freeman. I mean, you name it. And everybody's looking. Look at Jake, always knowing where Jamel Thomas happens to be. Juan now in for Claver.
So Claver gets 1 second and 1 foul on his game sheet today.
Yeah, he's in the record book.
Ball puts it on the floor on Juan. Left-hander gets inside.
Pretty good. One-on-one play. Thomas outside. Let him roam in there.
Here's Steele at the other end. Good D. Thomas right up on Hardnett.
Well, they are playing great man-to-man there. Let's see.
Hamilton working over Corey Wright in the soft touch. Hamilton with 18.
And twice now him on the box has helped this team.
Get it into Farley. Providence gets it over. Jamel. That might get him going here in the second half. His first points of the second half.
Well, if you're a pressing team, you say, oh, okay. Excepting you got a faster game and you've got Thomas able to get free.
Hardnett baseline. Blocked.
Open floor.
Justin Farley in a foot race. Providence leads.
And how about Cole? He took away the ability to recover. Good screen by Llewellyn.
Corey Wright pressuring Hamilton again. Hardnett again puts it on the floor. One underneath is challenged and fouled by Jamel Thomas.
Number 3, huh? Jamel very active. Go inside. This is a small Providence team. This is one time, if you're Jim Calhoun, you're hoping your wife didn't get starch in the collars.
You're right.
And this is a feisty Providence team that just keeps coming. And right here, the interior passing extraordinary all year long for this UConn team. And Juan with a chance to step to the line.
You're right. That stroke looks pretty good, doesn't it?
That's pretty.
One shot.
Jamel Thomas played 25 minutes before he picked up that 3rd foul. Had 2 of them just about 4.5 minutes into the game. Juan 1 of 2. And Farley the rebound.
And then I don't remember him not playing defense either. You know, laying back or trying not to get the 3rd one. He was aggressive. This is the end. They're trying to free him. He's using bumps along the baseline. Freeman, a marvelous job against him.
Hamilton out top on right. Linehan got a screen.
And the way to play Thomas is going to dribble penetration. Is very important.
Farley wide open. Lead again for the Friars. The UConn Huskies have themselves a battle here today.
Well, you can't deny and be aggressive all the time without freeing a dribble lane up.
Early February, the Friars lost 5 in a row, and some suspected they were packing it in. Since then, they have won 5 of 7. Farley with a foul.
And he's right, too. Number 4. And he got all basketball. Let him play out there, guys. Come on. 10 to go. Right here, the ability to dribble because of all the denial on Thomas. Everybody's staying at home, and the little guy gets into the thick of things, and the little dish. It only works if you knock it down.
And this is where Richard Hamilton is struggling because Wright can go by him on the dribble. And he needs a little defensive help. And look who's coming back into the game. Ricky Moore, that left knee, not seriously injured. He's back.
That's great to see. He's all taped up. And they go small again. But that little penetration only works if you can knock down that shot. And Justin did it fairly well.
Please. And that's why Pete Gillen's going to leave him in the game despite his 4 fouls.
They need an option for Thomas. That's key. Can't play all of them and hug them without people beating you with the bounce.
Rashamel Jones on Thomas. Ricky Moore on Farley. UConn might be as small here as Providence, and a hold is called on Jones, who cannot believe the call.
And what a bailout, too, because Corey Wright, not with an ideal delivery straight down the lane, but he wants to post because he can't get it outside. He's waving everybody off, trying to isolate Rochmel. He knows he's stronger, able to elevate, and that's not a great look. So the foul certainly bails out Jamel and Providence.
And it's the 7th foul committed this half by the Huskies as Thomas rattles one home. He's got a dozen. The Stars are the high scorers for both of these teams right now. Providence doing a good job as they did yesterday, but not getting to the line very often at all.
And Connecticut consistently
both of them home.
Initiates all the aggressive play and is the beneficiary. Go over the top. Put in this guy's hand. He got a fast break.
Freeman looking back out, almost had it taken away, finds Hamilton. Good pump. Offensive rebound to Moore. Jones, Freeman.
Now that's great interior passing. Unselfish. Finding a guy. Great look. This team does pass well.
They have great skill at every position on the floor.
And Jimmy has them playing so unselfishly every year. Again, the post.
Good rebound by Freeman in traffic. Now UConn can take the lead. Elamine, the leaner.
Oh, they got Linehan. Got there a little bit late. You know what's enabled Thomas to play? Freeman is his matchup, and they don't give it to him often.
You're right.
So he's able to stay on the floor. UConn just great. Jimmy Calhoun has always had at Northeastern and at Connecticut. Guys, they better play together or they don't play.
Now back to the action. Richard Hamilton is fouled on the floor. Corey Wright picks it up, his second. Team 6th on Providence. One more before UConn shoots. And now Kendrick Moore is going to return for the Friars in place of Farley. So he'll come out for a couple of minutes with the 4 fouls. Get him rested for the stretch drive.
Well, we mentioned yesterday, what a find for that program.
10 points, 6 rebounds today.
Good open shooter. Nice compliment at the forward spot. He's rushing and struggling. I guess Providence didn't hear about the trophy.
Elamine draws the contact and hits the shot. What a play.
And Dan, that's a little NBA too. Little slide to get the body. It's so sensuous to get a body rub. And he searches out here. Watch the lean left, folks. Now he comes back in and get a little shake and touch and go to the line for 3. Heady player. They learn so much, so young.
McDonald's All-American out of Minneapolis. Originally thought about staying home with the Gophers and then changed his mind. Came to UConn. Completes the 3-point play and also got John Linehan to commit his 4th foul. So it's getting dicey for Providence in the foul situation.
Now Clem can't watch a Connecticut game, and I can't blame him. Haskins, that is.
49-47 to UConn. Again, Jones on Thomas. Look at him elevate.
Oh, we could drive our car under there. Oh, maybe your car.
15 for Jamel. You're still driving the big 4 doors, aren't you?
If I can rent them.
Yet another tie, and a long way to go in this one. Elamine now guarded by Wright. Wright bumped him, saved it. Providence ball.
Isn't that terrific? You love it. Not stepping back at all, Dan.
Great effort on the defensive end and great skill on the offensive end. Jamel Thomas ties the game. Well, on day 1 of the Big East tournament, Pat Garrity, Tim James, and Damian Owens, 3 of the 5 first-team All-Big East players, got knocked out. Is another first-team player, in fact, the Conference Player of the Year, Richard Hamilton, in jeopardy of getting knocked out here today. Tie game right now. Both men, Hamilton and Thomas, a second-team All-Big East performer for Providence, have started scoring, but especially Hamilton. He just does not shoot the ball well against Providence. This is his 4th career game against the Providence Friars, and he's 15 of 62.
Underline the touches.
Yes.
They didn't get a lot of touches in the scoring area. A lot of those are away from the basket because of the great defensive scheme by both coaches.
And especially Jamel Thomas having to create on his own. Again, Thomas guarded by Rashamel Jones. Now a switch, and Hamilton is on him. They'll switch back.
Everybody looking to help. Now it's star against star. Hamilton and Thomas, and I think the advantage right here is Thomas down on the block.
Here comes the help from Jones, and it worked. Thomas got free and a block by Hamilton, but give a lot of credit to Rashamel Jones for getting down and doubling.
There wasn't a nook or a cranny available for Thomas down on that baseline. The post up, the strength, the ability to elevate and then negate it by double.
Now Jamel misses a jumper, and Elamine will bring the Huskies back, tied at 49, under 7 to go. If Providence can somehow find a way to win this game, everybody else who's still alive in this tournament gets awfully excited about their tournament chances. Because a few of these teams, including Providence, need to run the table to get to the postseason. Jones for the lead.
And what a look by Hamilton. That's what makes Richard multi-dimensional.
Rashamel's first 2 of the afternoon.
Well, you can pass off the jumper. That's why I love that. I didn't see you. You can see everything, as Richard did there.
Llewellyn Cole back into the game. Farley still on the bench right now for Providence. 10 to shoot. Linehan in trouble. Finds more. 5 to shoot.
They've stepped it up, haven't they, defensively?
Hamilton for 3. That would have been a big one.
Now the whole house, at least the Connecticut side, they do have a following, don't they?
This place has filled up considerably since the beginning of this game, and the crowd seems kind of split.
Well, it's half Connecticut, the other half are rooting for Providence simply because they don't want to have to play Connecticut.
Next game, Georgetown Rutgers over on ESPN. A lot of Rutgers fans. That'll make a few Providence fans, won't it?
Now, don't leave school, Jamel. You are going to be a legitimate player, but stay and get better. Just mature, understand how to play. Don't let anybody talk any silliness into you.
And he has said he does intend to return for his senior season. 2-pointer for Thomas, ties it at 51.
Now, one of the assistants makes sure that he does all the detail. Nice penetration here.
Hard foul. And Rashamel Jones will go to the line.
He's a little rocky. Oh. What happens frequently in the second half of the season, when people start talking to you, kids stop going to class. They think they're going to move on.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Make sure, all the assistants for Pete, make sure he pays attention to detail. The reward is a degree and a chance to play. How about that? Right. That's an NBA jumper.
You have to look no further than this very program to look at a guy who should not have left, God Shamgod, as after his sophomore season, what he could be doing and the minutes and experience he could be getting this year with the Friars.
Unfortunately, finances happen to creep into a decision. And you're in a situation that dictates it. It's very hard to argue with people, but just the sacrifice for 1 year now, I think it's well worth it.
Farley back in for more, so a couple of Friars, Farley and Linehan on the floor with 4 fouls. But this is Providence's season right here in the next 5 minutes. Now Jones will come out. Voskuhl back in for the Huskies.
Now he's in position to do some damage now, Jake. I mean, he'll jam it up defensively. You won't see as many post-ups for Thomas. He's going to have to drift outside. And I think they should use Jake on the offensive end, too. He's unselfish. He doesn't have to give it up.
Providence will probably have to put Llewellyn Cole on him, giving up a lot of size. But down at this end of the floor, let's see what the Friars get going.
Look at the one-man zone in the middle, Jake, and he checks out Cole.
Thomas forcing from the baseline. UConn up 2 with the ball. Elamine finding a seam. Again, the feed to Freeman.
Just get the feet set. He'll bring it. Everybody addresses the dribble. The It opens up the passing lane, and Pete Gillen sees it creeping away.
Full timeout. Pete Gillen wants. The Big East Rookie of the Year, Khalid El-Amin, with another spectacular feed, and UConn leads by 4. What an afternoon here. UConn leading Providence by 4. The winner will move on to the semifinals and to face the winner of Georgetown and Rutgers, a couple of underdogs who won yesterday. Providence beating Notre Dame convincingly to get to this game. Rutgers and Georgetown coming up, and then tonight 2 good games, Syracuse and Villanova. Villanova, what a win over Pittsburgh in double overtime, and a BC needed overtime to get by Seton Hall. Plenty of excitement in the first 6 games so far here at the Big East Championship.
Well, to get around New York, you've got to learn to penetrate. And this point guard has a wonderful approach to the game. Look at the jump stop. That's vintage UConn. And the advantage, little momentum, carries Kevin to the goal. Great little play by a strong, solid point guard.
5'10", almost 200 pounds, but gets up and down pretty well.
You think he could lose a few? Is that what you're suggesting?
I don't say. Again, we report the facts.
You yogurt fan.
Huskies have scored the last 4 points, and now their fans with a chant of defense, defense. Got to get a shot up. Maxey does hit the rim, and it'll be out of bounds still to Providence. Big break for the Friars to get that ball back.
Well, what happened, El-Amin, was, as all good defenders, jammed under the rim and couldn't get back out to get a check out. It was in a tough position. Just got a piece.
Under 4 minutes to play, perhaps in the Friars season. They lose, and they are done for the year. Connecticut looking like a #2 seed heading into the NCAA tournament, but a first-round loss in your conference tournament could hurt your cause in the NCAA. Sure.
Nice
Linehan gets inside, and again Maxey heads right to the bucket, knowing the pass would come.
Is that 5 or 6? I mean, dunks.
That's 10 points and 5 dunks.
Oh,
that's some high percentage shooting there by Aaron Maxey.
Elevating, but what about the dive, the timing? Great sense.
He knows how to play with his point guards.
Oh, Hamilton used the bump.
Corey Wright is down, injured, out of bounds.
Freeman gave him a legitimate clean screen, but Corey, he's looking to the stars. Any astrologists in the building? Oh, is he counting the chiclets?
Back into the game on offense. Thomas bumped by Freeman. And good rebound by Richard Hamilton in heavy traffic.
Now there's a case. Voskuhl in the game made it a tough shot. Just to zone up the influence.
Now Khalid El-Amin is a little shaken up, twisting his neck and rubbing the back of his head as he makes his way down the floor. And he wants a 20.
Boy, good call, Dan. I mean, he's rocking and reeling. Just like Corey Wright.
A lot of guys seeing stars in this game today.
Well, Tom Archer on the open had shown the viewers Hamilton's ability to use screens, and right there, Corey Wright, the residual effect of a body built by Bally or built by Jack LaLanne, Kevin Freeman, and right here, the little guy just doing a great job helping out, and Jake's the guy that ended up hurting. Good influence by Voskuhl from the center position. But they have great team defense concepts, and unfortunately for El-Amin, he took the brunt of it.
Down a couple with 2:40 to play. Pete Gillen has no timeouts left of any kind, and you said he never takes them home with him.
Can't use them in the summer.
That may become a factor.
Little hedge and slide behind.
Got Maxey in the air, used the glass and hits. Is he poised for a freshman?
Oh, anybody built like that has to be able to sit home, step through, right yourself, and send it in.
Linehan in the corner. Great steal by Voskuhl on Maxey, but Jamel got it back. No call, and Hamilton has it.
Big trip right here for UConn. They could put it away. They run the nice little, here's the high pick. Voskuhl dives to the goal. Double screen.
El-Amin baseline. There's the big basket by Freeman, and it's a 6-point lead.
You run the baseline, everybody helps. It opens up passing lanes. Freeman always available.
Freeman's got 14, and he's got Elamine to thank for most of those. Maxey might have gotten away with a walk. Linehan gets inside. Hamilton again.
Nobody back. Nice play by Hamilton, though. Freeman was alone. And Hamilton saw him, but then held on to it. Kevin's upset because he thought he should have given it, but judgment is important, and that's what he's saying to him. I saw you, but the time, the score, intelligent play by Hamilton.
That rebound is his 10th, a double-double for Richard Hamilton.
Using the bump. There's a double on one side. Use the post rub. And look at Jake also available. Freeman available. Elevation, strength. The little smooch at the end. They're just in the right position to do the damage.
And the best free throw shooter in the Big East Conference at the line for the Huskies. He's got 2 double-doubles in his career. They've both come against Providence in the last 2 weeks. Great battle put up by the Friars, but it looks like the Huskies just a little too tough.
And look at this rebound. Freeman right in the middle. You got to squeeze him.
7-point deficit, a minute 10 to go. No timeouts for Providence.
And running out right now. Got a good look. Unfortunately, Corey Wright ends up fouling. And Pete knows slippage occurring. That was a big try by the Friars.
Well, all of this week culminates in the selection specials on Sunday. First, the men's special presented by GTE at 6:30 Eastern. Chris Fowler, Quinn Buckner, Dick Vitale, Digger Phelps. Then at 7:30, the women's special presented by State Farm. Robin Roberts, Mimi Griffin, and Rebecca Loeb will find out where your team is headed in the men's or women's tournaments. At the line, Freeman.
Solid contributor, this guy. It gets lost. The defense he performed today. Jamel didn't get a lot of opportunities. He's improved his offensive play. Solid. This summer, work on that little jumper. Shot 57%, but he gets a lot of those in close. He gets to the 10 to 15 foot range. He's got a legitimate future.
1 of 2, 8-point lead.
How about that high school team with this guy and Timmy Thomas?
Yeah.
Madison Catholic was knocking him dead. Straight up man by the Huskies.
And under a minute to go. Providence needs threes in a hurry. Farley. Vasco the rebound.
And they keep it in the hands of the right guy. Farley, that's the limit. Justin, solid game though.
Number 5 on Justin Farley. Jim Calhoun can finally afford himself a small smile with an 8-point lead and under a minute to go. And Farley really contributing the second half of the year.
Excuse me, Jim's got the cheap timeout. That's what Ted Valentine was over there saying, get off the floor with the 30-second substitution. But you're right, Farley, solid. I mean, this is a nice compliment to Jamel Thomas because he can light it up, keeps defenses honest, and if they could ever nurture some offense from the center spot, just a little bit, turnaround game. Well, Mackenzie should really work hard this summer.
And no scholarship seniors. They don't lose anybody. They're going after some JUCO big men to help out. But today's story, Richard Hamilton and the UConn Huskies. Hamilton now with 21. UConn is going to move on to the semifinals to play the winner of Georgetown and Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights coming off the upset win over West Virginia. They are our next game over on ESPN. The number 12 seed Rutgers, the number 13 seed Georgetown.
Good news for Providence,
yeah.
Huh? They got 20 left.
They put 20 minutes back on the clock.
Oh. That's good for us. I'm sure Pete will like it.
Oh.
There you go. A little disappointment for the Friars. They got a PC guy on the clock, I'm sure. We got one in the truck.
The score will not reflect how tough and close this game was. It was tied at 51 just 3 minutes ago.
Providence, nice little dish here by Wright. Going back to the early 60s, Johnny Egan, Vinnie Ernst, John Thompson. Here's a turnover by Jake, a little too high, trying to get it to Hamilton. You never know, a little three. But Providence has taken New York by storm all throughout the history of that program.
Dillon suffers through his first sub-500 season. Steal by Elamine.
You know what name you always forget when you talk about Jimmy Walker? What a great, great player. Mike Reardon. And Pete has one here, I think, in Jamel Thomas. Trying to use clock here. They can't catch him. Good ball movement.
And Linehan finally wraps up Ricky Moore.
You would have gone to the medical profession. You picked Ricky Moore's bang right away. I thought the worst. I mean, you felt that he did bang knees. I mean, what a loss that would be.
Oh, yeah. Again, it has been a very tough tournament. Abubakar Al with an elbow to the head of Mario Bland yesterday. Knocked Bland senseless. Shaheen Holloway looked like he was seriously injured. John Linehan has fouled out of this game for Providence. Just 16 seconds standing between Jim Calhoun and a trip to the semifinals against the winner of Georgetown and Rutgers.
Now, Pete Gillen and his staff, I mean, there's an empty feeling setting in right now. Bobby Gonzalez, a New Yorker, dressing like a banker. Tommy Hurrian, Mike Malone, Alexis Sherrod. And yet they played as well as they could. The game plan was solid. You're just playing against a team that has that ability at all spots to put you away. Good open look here. One of the few for Jamel.
Yep. And now the Friars will let it go.
Yeah, they're just going to...
Great fight put up by Providence, but in the end, the skill of Connecticut, the depth of Connecticut a little bit too much as they move on to the semifinals, beating the Friars by a score of 64-55.
And, you know, it was a classy game right to the end. Elamine could have shot the ball, didn't. Great effort by Providence, but the ability defensively to sort of control Jamel Thomas may be the key to this victory.
So Connecticut moves on. We're going to be with you in just about 20 minutes time for Rutgers and Georgetown over on ESPN with a spot in the semis up for grabs. 64-55 UConn the final. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Let's go to Dave Ryan in the studio.